Last Tuesday, I stood in my pantry, heart racing. Half the foods I've relied on for survival could be gone by 2026. Not because of war, not because of supply chain breakdowns, but because of quiet, creeping federal regulations that are phasing them out right under our noses. This isn't some conspiracy theory, it's happening. The FDA and USDA are rolling out new rules, low-sodium mandates, anti-additive crackdowns, and ultra-processed food restrictions. They're not banning these foods outright, they're making it impossible for them to exist as we know them. And millions of Americans are catching on. They're stockpiling now, while they still can. I'm David. I've been prepping since 2014. Not just hoarding cans and ammo, but running real tests, week-long no-power drills, full food storage audits, living off my supplies. So when I dug into the 2026 action plans buried in government bulletins, I didn't panic. I prepared. What I found was chilling. Foods that have been the backbone of my family's survival plan for over a decade are being quietly flagged for reformulation or removal. Not because they're unsafe, but because they don't fit the new healthy narrative. Here's the truth. When the system collapses, you don't need clean labels. You need calories, shelf stability, nutrition that lasts. And once these foods are gone, they're gone. Today, I'm revealing the 15 survival foods disappearing fastest. If you're not paying attention, you'll miss your chance. Let's dive in. 1. White rice, the survival grain that's slipping away. White rice isn't just a pantry staple, it's the ultimate survival food. For thousands of years, civilizations have relied on this humble grain to sustain armies, families, and entire nations. Why? Because it's cheap, calorie-dense, and practically indestructible when stored properly. A single 25-pound bag of white rice contains over 37,000 calories. That's enough to feed one person for nearly a month, or a family of 4 for a week. No refrigeration, no fancy prep, just water and heat. And if you don't have fuel, soak it in cold water and it'll soften in hours. Stored in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers, white rice can last 30 years or more. Compare that to brown rice, which spoils in under a year due to its high oil content. White rice wins every time for long-term prepping. It's naturally gluten-free, easy to digest under stress, and even doubles as a rehydration solution when boiled into rice water, a lifesaver during dehydration crises. But here's the kicker. The FDA's 2026 Healthy Eating Initiative is quietly targeting enriched white rice. While plain rice is naturally low in sodium, fortified versions with added nutrients like iron and B vitamins are under fire. New labeling rules could reclassify these enriched bags as high risk due to processing concerns. The result? Bulk retailers are already pulling them from shelves. Last month, Costco sold out of 25 and 50-pound rice bags in just 48 hours across the US and Canada. Prices online have skyrocketed by 60%, and restocks are nowhere in sight. This isn't a drill, it's happening now. If you're serious about food security, stockpile enriched white rice while you still can. Store it in a cool, dark, and dry place. Because when the next crisis hits, it won't be trendy freeze-dried meals that save you. It'll be this ancient grain. 2. Powdered milk. The dairy lifeline disappearing fast. Powdered milk might not sound glamorous, but it's one of the most powerful survival foods you can own. Non-fat dry milk lasts up to 20 years when stored properly in a cool, dry place. It doesn't need refrigeration. And with just water, you've got real milk packed with calcium, protein, and vitamin D. For families with kids, it's a game changer when fresh dairy disappears during power outages, supply chain collapses, or economic meltdowns. But powdered milk isn't just for drinking. It's versatile. You can bake with it, mix it into oatmeal, or blend it into emergency protein shakes. It's even a valuable barter item when things go south, traded for fuel, medicine, or tools when cash becomes useless. Here's the problem. The USDA's 2026 nutrition standards overhaul is redefining what qualifies as healthy. Powdered milk, despite its long shelf life and nutritional value, is being labeled as too processed. Officials argue it doesn't fit the whole food profile they're pushing in federal programs. The fallout? School lunch contracts are dropping it, retailers are cutting orders, and some distributors have already limited bulk sales. This isn't just bureaucratic nonsense, it's affecting real people. Last quarter, warehouse clubs across the Midwest reported a 90% sell-through rate on 25-pound bags of powdered milk. Online prices have spiked by 70%, and restocks are delayed or outright canceled. If you have kids, elderly family members, or anyone with dietary needs, powdered milk isn't optional. It's essential. Stock at least 5 pounds per person, and store it in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Keep it in a cool basement or pantry. Because when the dairy aisle goes dark, those who prepared won't just survive, they'll thrive. Don't wait until it's too late. 3. Peanut butter. The calorie king under threat. Peanut butter isn't just a snack, it's a survival powerhouse. A single jar packs over 6,000 calories, enough to fuel an adult for 3 days. It requires zero prep, no refrigeration, and no water. It's pure fat, protein, and comfort food all rolled into one. Kids will eat it when they refuse everything else, and it pairs perfectly with oats, crackers, or powdered milk to create a complete meal. But here's the catch. The peanut butter you know and trust is disappearing. Palm oil, the key stabilizer in no-stir, shelf-stable peanut butter, is under fire. California's 2026 environmental regulations are targeting palm oil due to deforestation concerns. Major brands like Jif and Skippy are already reformulating their recipes, swapping palm oil for hydrogenated fats and adding sugar, salt, and preservatives to maintain texture and shelf life. The result? The classic, simple peanut butter with just peanuts and salt is vanishing. It's being replaced by versions that spoil faster, trigger allergies, or lack the long-term stability peppers rely on. And people are noticing. Last month, bulk warehouse sales of traditional peanut butter jumped 110% across the US and Canada. Amazon listings for no palm oil, no sugar versions are backordered for months. Real peanut butter lasts 2 to 3 years unopened and stays safe for months after opening, even without refrigeration. But the new formulas, shorter shelf life, higher sugar content, and increased spoilage risk. If peanut butter is part of your survival plan, act now. Stock up on jars with simple ingredients: peanuts, salt, and maybe palm oil. Avoid anything with hydrogenated oils or added sugar, because soon you won't recognize the jar or trust what's inside. 4. Canned beans. The protein powerhouse under siege. Canned beans are the unsung heroes of survival food. They're cheap, packed with protein, and ready to eat straight out of the can. A single can can sustain one person for an entire day. When paired with rice, they form a complete protein, making them the backbone of survival diets for generations. High in fiber, iron, and folate, they're exactly what your body craves during stressful times. But here's the problem. The FDA's 2026 Sodium Reduction Initiative is targeting canned goods, and beans are in the crosshairs. Current guidelines allow up to 400 mg of sodium per serving, but the new rules slash that by half. Sodium isn't just a flavor enhancer, it's a preservative. Without it, canned beans spoil faster. Manufacturers are scrambling to comply by cutting portion sizes, adding potassium chloride, which tastes metallic, or quietly discontinuing high-sodium lines altogether. The fallout is already here. In July 2025, Walmart restricted bulk bean purchases in 14 states after a single weekend wiped out 80% of inventory. Costco's private label pinto and black beans haven't restocked in 6 weeks. This isn't speculation, it's happening now. If you're prepping, stick to traditional full-sodium cans. Look for brands with simple ingredients: beans, water, salt, and maybe a bit of sugar. Avoid no-salt added versions. They're designed for short-term health, not long-term survival. Store your canned beans in a cool, dry place and rotate them gently. They'll outlast most emergencies and keep you fed when the grid goes down. Don't wait until the shelves are empty. Stock up now, because when the reformulated cans hit, they won't be worth the space in your pantry. 5. Raw honey. The sweet lifesaver that's disappearing. Raw honey isn't just a sweetener, it's a survival essential. We're not talking about the processed squeeze bottles you find in grocery stores. This is the real deal. Raw, unfiltered honey straight from the hive. It's nature's miracle food, and here's why. Honey never spoiled. Archaeologists have uncovered jars of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that are still edible after 3,000 years. That's the kind of shelf life you want in a crisis. But honey isn't just about calories. It's a natural antiseptic, making it invaluable for wound care when antibiotics are unavailable. Got a sore throat or a nasty cough? Honey soothes and heals. Feeling drained? Just 2 tablespoons provide a quick energy boost without the crash of refined sugar. Mix it with oats or powdered milk, and you've got a morale-boosting, nutrient-packed meal. Here's the problem. The FDA's 2026 added sugars labeling expansion is about to redefine honey. Under these new rules, even single-ingredient raw honey will be classified as added sugar. This means warning labels, restrictions in school programs, and a stigma that could push raw honey off mainstream shelves. Big retailers are already shifting to alternatives like agave or stevia blends, leaving pure honey to quietly disappear. And it gets worse. Bee populations have been decimated by colony collapse disorder, with yields from top honey-producing states like California and Vermont hitting record lows. Prices have doubled since 2023, and bulk orders are backlogged for months. If you're serious about preparedness, stock up on raw honey now. Buy it in glass jars or food-grade buckets. Avoid plastic as it can leach chemicals over time. Crystallization? No problem. Just warm the jar gently, and it's good as new. Store it in a cool, dark place, and it'll outlast you. This isn't just about sweetness, it's about survival. Once regulators slap honey with a sugar label, the real stuff will vanish quietly, leaving empty shelves and regret in its place. 6. Rolled oats. The energy powerhouse under attack, rolled oats are the unsung heroes of survival food. They're simple, affordable, and packed with slow-burning energy. A single 1-pound bag can provide nearly 10 servings, and all you need is hot water, no cooking required. When stored properly with oxygen absorbers, rolled oats can last up to 30 years, making them a prepper's dream. Nutritionally, they're a powerhouse. High in fiber, gentle on the stomach, and naturally gluten-free if processed in dedicated facilities. Rolled oats are perfect for stressed digestive systems. Pair them with honey, peanut butter, or powdered milk, and you've got a calorie-dense survival meal ready in under a minute. But here's the catch. The USDA's 2026 whole grain integrity policy is putting rolled oats in the crosshairs. New rules demand stricter fiber thresholds and prohibit what they're now calling ultra-processing. This vague term is being stretched to include grains that are flattened or steamed. Yes, even rolled oats. Manufacturers are already pivoting. Brands like Quaker and Bob's Red Mill are shifting to quick oats or steel-cut blends. The problem? Quick oats absorb moisture faster, making them less stable for long-term storage. Steel-cut oats, on the other hand, require more fuel to cook. A critical flaw when propane or firewood is scarce. The fallout is already visible. Bulk rolled oats are vanishing from shelves. Sam's Club recently limited purchases to 2 bags per customer after a single weekend wiped out 90% of inventory. Online, 25-pound buckets now cost 3 times what they did in 2024. For true preparedness, stick to plain, unflavored rolled oats. Avoid added sugars, salts, or flavorings as they reduce shelf life. Store them in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, sealed inside food-grade buckets. Keep them cool, dark, and dry, and they'll sustain your family long after the grocery stores go silent. Don't wait for the label change. By then, the only oats left will be the kind that won't keep you alive. 7. Dried lentils. The protein workhorse facing extinction. Dried lentils are a prepper's best friend. They're small, cheap, and nearly indestructible. A single pound of lentils expands to 6 cups of protein-rich food, and unlike beans, they don't require soaking. They cook in just 15 to 20 minutes, which is a lifesaver when fuel is scarce. Nutritionally, lentils are a gold mine. They're packed with iron, folate, and fiber, exactly what your body needs to recover from stress, injury, or illness. Pair them with rice or oats, and you've got a complete protein that keeps you going for hours. Stored properly in airtight containers, lentils can last 30 years or more. In fact, older lentils often cook faster, making them even more efficient over time. But here's the problem. The FDA's 2026 Pesticide Residue Action Plan is targeting imported legumes, including lentils. Over 80% of U.S. lentils come from India and Canada, and new maximum residue limits, MRLs, are so strict that many shipments are failing inspection. Not because they're unsafe, but because technology has improved. The result? Import delays, cancellations, and a growing bottleneck. In June 2025, U.S. Customs detained 40% of lentil shipments at the Port of Seattle due to trace pesticide levels. Retailers responded by slashing orders and bulk bins at health food stores are now labeled limited supply. Preppers have noticed online sales of 25-pound lentil buckets surged 180% in Q2 2025, and food storage forums are buzzing with reports of shortages. If you rely on lentils as a protein source, act now. Stick to plain, unseasoned dried lentils. Avoid pre-mixed soup blends, as they often contain oils or salts that reduce shelf life. Store them in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, sealed inside buckets, and keep them in a cool, dark plate. Lentils take up minimal space, cost pennies per serving, and will be one of the few true proteins left when the supply chain collapses. Don't wait for the empty shelves, seek up now. 8. Canned tuna. The brain fuel that's fading away. Canned tuna is a survival food superstar. It's light, portable, and packed with protein and omega-3s. One can provide a full meal, ready to eat cold straight from the can. No cooking, no prep, no cleanup. In a grid-down scenario, that kind of convenience is priceless. Tuna delivers essential fats that your brain needs to stay sharp under stress, especially when anxiety is high and mental clarity is critical. Pair it with crackers, rice, or powdered milk, and you've got a high-performance survival meal in seconds. Unopened, canned tuna lasts 5 to 7 years, even longer if stored in a cool, dark place. Unlike fresh fish, it doesn't need refrigeration, and unlike dried meat, it doesn't require rehydration. But here's the problem. The FDA's 2026 Seafood Safety Transparency Rule is about to make canned tuna a lot harder to find. The new rule mandates mercury warning labels on all tuna products above trace level. Mercury levels haven't changed, but the testing thresholds have, meaning nearly every standard can will now be flagged. Retailers are already reacting. Walmart and Kroger are drafting policies to delist high mercury varieties, including most albacore and even some light tuna. The result: shelves are thinning and prices are skyrocketing. In just 6 months, the cost of a 12-pack of name-brand tuna has jumped 65%. Manufacturers are also switching to low-mercury blends, often mixed with filler fish or water-heavy brines that reduce actual protein content. For real preparedness, stick to solid white albacore or light tuna in water. Avoid oil-packed or broth-based varieties, as they spoil faster and offer less protein. Check labels for short ingredient lists, and stock up while you still can. Store your cans in a cool basement and rotate them gently. When the power's out, the freezer's thawing, and your body needs real fuel, you won't care about mercury parts per billion. You'll care that your food is safe, dense, and ready. Don't wait. Canned tuna won't be banned, but it might vanish quietly, leaving you with nothing but regret. 9. Coconut oil. The survival fat that does it all. Coconut oil isn't just a cooking ingredient, it's a survivalist dream in a jar. Solid at room temperature, and stable for up to 5 years without refrigeration, it's a multi-purpose powerhouse. When the grid goes down, coconut oil steps up. It burns cleanly in oil lamps when batteries are dead, heals chapped skin, cuts and rashes when first aid supplies run out, and even works as a natural antibacterial agent. As a food source, coconut oil is pure fat. 9 calories per gram. That's critical when your body is burning through reserves under stress. Use it to sauté rice, fry beans, or bake flatbreads over an open flame. No electricity, no problem. Its lauric acid content even fights bacteria and viruses, making it a silent protector when sanitation systems fail. But coconut oil is under fire. While it's not banned in the US yet, it's already prohibited in EU cosmetics due to palm derivative concerns, and US regulators are watching closely. The FDA's 2026 saturated fat reassessment has flagged coconut oil as high risk because of its fat profile. It's not illegal, but it's likely to face new warning labels, marketing restrictions, and removal from WIC and SNAP eligibility lists. Retailers are already reacting. Whole Foods has quietly moved coconut oil from the health food aisle to specialty oils. Costco stopped selling bulk 5-quart buckets in early 2025, and Amazon now limits purchases to 2 per customer. Preppers aren't waiting. Sales of bulk organic virgin coconut oil surged 70% last quarter. For your pantry, stick to food-grade, unrefined virgin coconut oil in dark glass jars or BPA-free metal tins. Avoid refined or deodorized versions. They lose their antimicrobial benefits. Store it in a cool, dark place where it will solidify below 76 ppth. making it easy to portion and transport. This isn't about trendy diets, it's about having a shelf-stable fat that can cook, heal, and light your way when everything else fails. Stock up now before regulations turn this survival staple into a specialty item you can't afford or find. 10. Hardtack crackers. The indestructible carb you'll need. Hardtack crackers are the ultimate survival food. Forget fancy rations. This is the stuff that kept Civil War soldiers, Arctic explorers, and siege survivors alive. Made from just 2 ingredients, flour and water, hardtack is baked rock hard to kill bacteria and prevent spoilage. Properly stored, it can last 25 years or more. No fat, no sugar, no preservatives, just pure, dense carbohydrates that are ready when you are. Hardtack isn't meant to be gourmet. It's survival fuel. Soak it in broth, coffee, or water, and it softens into an edible, calorie-dense meal in minutes. Pair it with peanut butter, tuna, or powdered cheese, and you've got a complete meal with 0 cooking required. But here's the problem. Hardtack is disappearing, not because of demand, but because of definition. The FDA's 2026 ultra-processed food classification is targeting any shelf-stable baked good with a shelf life over 2 years. Why? Because it's nutritionally incomplete. Never mind that moisture causes mold in emergencies. Regulators are more concerned about fresh nutrients. Retailers are following suit. Major survival brands quietly discontinued their hardtack lines in 2024. Military surplus depots are reporting record demand and empty shelves. Online, 10-pound buckets of hardtack now sell for triple their 2023 price. If you're serious about preparedness, don't rely on homemade versions. They rarely achieve true long-term stability without precise oven control and vacuum-sealed packaging. Instead, seek out commercial-grade hardtack from trusted survival food companies. Look for vacuum-sealed packaging with oxygen absorbers and store it in a cool, dry place away from humidity. Hardtack isn't glamorous, but when fuel runs out, your teeth are your only tool, and calories mean survival. It won't fail you. Buy it now, while it's still sold as food and not flagged as a relic of the past. 11 bouillon cubes. The tiny flavor bombs that save lives. Bouillon cubes might be small, but they're a survival food heavyweight. These tiny, lightweight cubes pack a punch of flavor and sodium, transforming plain hot water into nutrient-rich broth in seconds. In a crisis, that's a game changer. Broth replaces lost electrolytes during fever, diarrhea, or heat exhaustion. It makes bland rice or oats edible, preserving morale when stress is at its peak. Bouillon cubes also stretch scarce meat supplies. 1 cube can mimic the savoriness of bone broth without the need for refrigeration or hours of simmering. Properly stored, traditional bouillon cubes last 5 to 10 years. No refrigeration, no prep, just dissolve and go. But bouillon is under attack. The FDA's 2026 sodium reduction in prepared foods rule is targeting concentrated flavor products like bouillon cubes. With sodium levels often exceeding 800 milligrams per cube, they're well above the new proposed limit of 300 milligrams. Brands are scrambling to comply, rolling out low-sodium versions that lack preservation power and taste watery. Worse, many of these new versions use potassium chloride as a substitute, which leaves a metallic aftertaste and can be dangerous for people on certain medications. Meanwhile, classic full-sodium cubes are disappearing. Walmart delisted them from online grocery in April 2025, and restaurant supply stores now require business licenses to purchase them. Preppers are stockpiling what's left. Online, 100 cube packs sell out within hours of restocking. For your pantry, stick to original recipe bouillon cubes with salt high on the ingredient list and no artificial substitutes. Store them in airtight containers with desiccants to keep them dry. When your body craves salt and your meals taste like cardboard, 1 little cube won't just add flavor, it'll restore your will to keep going. Don't wait. Once reformulated, the real thing won't come back. 12 freeze-dried vegetables. The vitamin lifeline you'll need. Freeze-dried vegetables aren't a luxury, they're a lifeline. When fresh food vanishes, these lightweight, nutrient-packed veggies step in. Freeze-drying locks in nutrients without heat, salt, or preservatives, making them a prepper's best friend. Carrots, peas, corn, spinach, all rehydrate in hot or cold water, ready to restore color, flavor, and critical micronutrients to your meals. Add them to rice, beans, or soups, and you've got a meal that prevents deficiency diseases like scurvy or night blindness. Unlike canned vegetables, Freeze-dried options are lightweight, compact, and last 25 to 30 years when stored in sealed N110 cans or Mylar pouches. No BPA linings, no liquid to spill, just pure shelf-stable nutrition. But freeze-dried vegetables are under threat. The USDA's 2026 Fresh First nutrition policy prioritizes perishable produce in federal food programs, sidelining preserved vegetables as nutritionally inferior. Never mind that freeze-dried spinach retains 97% of its folate, or that rehydrated carrots deliver more beta-carotene than week-old fresh supermarket bunches. Retailers are taking note. Major warehouse clubs have reduced shelf space for freeze-dried vegetables by 60% since late 2024. Online lead times for bulk orders now stretch to 8 to 12 weeks. Meanwhile, droughts in California and heat waves in Canada have slashed fresh vegetable yields, making preserved options more vital than ever. Preppers are acting fast. Sales of 5-gallon buckets of mixed freeze-dried vegetables jumped to 90% in Q1 2025. For your pantry, choose single-ingredient, no salt-added varieties. Avoid blends with added sugar or oils, as they shorten shelf life. Store them in cool, dark condition. When your body weakens from vitamin gaps, a spoonful of rehydrated peas could be the difference between surviving and just enduring. Stock up now, while regulators still allow you to buy what fresh food can't deliver when it matters most. 13. Iodized salt, the mineral that keeps you alive. Iodized salt isn't just a seasoning, it's a survival necessity. This isn't about flavor. It's about keeping your body functioning when everything else fails. Salt is your thyroid's best friend, preventing goiter, fatigue, and cognitive decline when fresh food is scarce and stress is through the roof. It's also critical for nerve function, muscle control, and hydration. And let's not forget its role as a water purifier. Sure, bleach can disinfect water, but what happens when you run out of bleach? Salt, combined with solar disinfection, SEUs, can make questionable water safer to drink. The best part, plain iodized salt lasts forever. It doesn't spoil, doesn't expire, just keep it dry and it'll outlive you. But here's the problem. The FDA's 2026 Sodium Action Plan is targeting bulk sales of iodized table salt, claiming excessive sodium intake is a public health risk. Never mind that preppers aren't eating it by the spoonful, they're using it for preservation, water safety, and survival. Retailers are already reacting. Walmart and Target have moved bulk salt bags behind counters, requiring ID or limiting purchases. Online, 25-pound food-grade bags are now labeled industrial use only to dodge nutrition labeling rule. And global iodine supplies, the key additive that makes salt survival grade, are under strain due to mine closures and disruptions from the Ukraine war. Preppers are taking action. Reports from forums show people buying 50-pound sacks and splitting them with preparedness groups. If you're serious about survival, stock up on plain iodized table salt, not sea salt, not kosher salt, and definitely not fancy gourmet blends. Only iodized salt prevents iodine deficiency in long-term crises. Store it in airtight containers away from moisture, because when your body craves electrolytes and your mind starts fogging from iodine deficiency, you'll be glad you ignored the low-sodium trend and trusted the one mineral that's kept humanity alive through every famine in history. 14. Pure maple syrup, liquid gold for survival. Pure maple syrup isn't just for pancakes, it's liquid survival fuel. Grade A, 100% pure maple syrup is more than a sweetener. It's packed with manganese, zinc, and antioxidants, making it a natural energy booster and immune system supporter. Unlike refined sugar, it has a low glycemic index, providing steady energy without the blood sugar crashes. Mix it with powdered milk or oats, and you've got a morale-boosting, nutrient-packed meal. But maple syrup isn't just food, it's medicine. Its natural osmotic properties can help draw out infections in wounds, much like honey. Stored properly in glass or food-grade containers, pure maple syrup lasts 2 to 3 years unrefrigerated and indefinitely if kept cool and sealed. Here's the problem. Maple syrup is under threat. Vermont, which produces 50% of the U.S. supply, issued a climate alert in 2025. Rising temperatures and erratic frosts have slashed sap yields by 40% over the past 2 years. At the same time, the FDA's 2026 added sugars rule is lumping pure maple syrup in with high fructose corn syrup, requiring warning labels that scream high in added sugars. Retailers are already reacting. Whole Foods and Trader Joe's have reduced shelf space, and Costco stopped selling gallon jugs in early 2025. Preppers aren't waiting. Bulk 5-gallon buckets of pure maple syrup now sell out within hours, with prices up 80% since 20. If you want to be prepared, buy 100% pure maple syrup, grade A or B in sealed glass or BPA-free containers. Avoid maple-flavored syrups, they're mostly corn syrup and spoil faster. This isn't about pancakes. It's about having a natural, shelf-stable sweetener that fuels your body, boosts your immunity, and heals wounds when sugar becomes scarce or suspect. Stock up now before climate change and labeling laws turn this ancestral food into a rare luxury. 15. Wheat berries, the foundation of survival nutrition. Wheat berries are the raw, unprocessed kernels of wheat, the foundation of bread, flour, and long-term nutrition. When stored properly, wheat berries can last 30 years or more, making them a cornerstone of any serious prepper's pantry. All you need is a hand-crank grain mill, and you can turn them into fresh, nutrient-rich flour long after store-bought bags have gone stale. Packed with B vitamins, fiber, and plant-based protein, wheat berries provide the energy and gut health you'll need when dietary variety disappears. But wheat berries aren't just for grinding. Soak them overnight and you can sprout them, producing fresh greens even during a blackout. This makes them a versatile survival food that goes beyond just baking. However, wheat berries are facing a quiet squeeze. The USDA's 2026 Bioengineered Food Disclosure Rule is tightening GMO labeling, and many bulk suppliers are dropping non-certified grains to avoid compliance costs. At the same time, new whole grain integrity standards are favoring pre-milled fortified flours, pushing raw wheat to the margins of food programs. Retailers see low turnover, and bulk bins are disappearing from co-ops and farm stores. Climate change is making things worse. Record droughts in the Great Plains, America's wheat belt, have slashed 2025 harvests by nearly 25%. Prices for food-grade wheat berries have doubled in the past year. Preppers are taking notice. Online, 50-pound sacks of hard red winter wheat sell out within minutes of restocking.